Santa Monica Pier, sunset, laughter, waves, and music in the background. The camera pans slowly across the glowing boardwalk lights until it stops on a young girl in a wheelchair, her eyes reflecting the golden horizon. Then out of nowhere, a group of teens walks up behind her. "Move, Cripple," one sneers, shoving her wheelchair. The sound of her scream cuts through the chatter of the pier. Her bag spills. Her sketchbook scatters across the wooden planks. People look away. Nobody steps forward. Until a sound rises in the distance, the deep, rumbling growl of dozens of motorcycle engines. Within moments, a sea of bikers rolls down the pier, engines echoing like thunder. The leader, a huge man with a scar across his cheek, steps off his Harley, eyes locked on the bullies. "You just made the biggest mistake of your lives," he says, voice cold as steel. Cut to black. Title appears on screen. Backhand index pointing right move, Cripple. Bullies kicked a disabled girl at Santa Monica Pier, then a sea of bikers surrounded. Emily Torres was 16, born with a spinal condition that made walking painful and unstable. But despite her wheelchair, she had dreams bigger than most people's fears. She loved to draw wings, mostly because in her sketches, she could fly. Her mother worked double shifts at a diner, and her father had passed away when she was 10. Every evening, Emily rolled herself to the Santa Monica Pier to sketch the ocean waves and the people walking by. She found peace there, the sound of the waves, the seagulls, and the warm light. That evening was supposed to be special. Her art teacher had told her to paint something that represented freedom. Emily wanted to capture it in the way the light danced over the ocean, in the laughter of strangers, in the salty wind that kissed her cheeks. But peace doesn't last long in a world that judges too fast. A group of teens, 3 boys and 2 girls, maybe 17 or 18, noticed her near the edge of the pier. They laughed and pointed. "Hey, Wheels," one called out. "What are you drawing? A miracle?" Emily tried to ignore them. She lowered her head, pencil trembling. But they didn't stop. One kicked the back of her wheelchair. Another snatched her sketchbook and waved it around. "Move, Cripple," one shouted, as if her existence was in their way. The kick sent her rolling forward. She screamed, her bag tumbled, her art supplies scattered. The pier grew quiet, eyes turning, but no one moved. No one except an older man sitting on a nearby bench, white beard, leather vest, and a motorcycle helmet beside him. His name was Ray Ironheart Callahan. He stood slowly, his gaze hard. "You kids got 5 seconds to walk away," he said, his voice low and dangerous. The bullies laughed. "Or what, Grandpa? You'll call your biker buddies?" Ray smirked, just a little. "Exactly." He reached into his jacket and pressed something, a radio button. Within minutes, the air filled with the thunder of engines. The pier shook as a sea of bikers rolled in, leather jackets, skull patches, and flashing chrome. They surrounded the teens like a living wall. Emily looked up, eyes wide with tears, not of fear this time, but of disbelief. Ray knelt beside her, gently picking up her fallen sketchbook. "You okay, sweetheart?" She nodded weakly. "Why, yeah. Thank you." "Don't thank me yet," he said softly. "You're about to teach those punks a lesson they'll never forget." The bullies tried to talk, but their voices shook. The leader, the same boy who had kicked her chair, stumbled backward. Ray turned to Emily. "You want to tell me what happened, or should I let them explain?" She looked at the bullies, then at Ray. "They called me a cripple. Said I didn't belong here." Ray's expression hardened. He turned to his crew. "You hear that, brothers?" A chorus of deep voices growled back, "We heard." The boy gulped. "We're sorry. We didn't mean." Ray raised his hand. "You ever mock someone for their pain again, you'll answer to all of us. Got it?" They nodded frantically and ran, tripping over each other to escape. The bikers parted to let them go, like lions letting mice flee the den. Then, the engines quieted. Emily wiped her tears. Ray smiled at her sketchbook and said, "You know, kid, you got real talent. Those wings? They're not just drawings. They're who you are. For the first time that night, Emily smiled. Over the next few weeks, Emily started visiting the pier again, this time, with company. Ray and his biker brothers, known as the Steel Guardians, made it their mission to protect that pier, to make sure no one else faced what she did. They became her family, loud, rough, tattooed, but with hearts of gold. They brought her coffee, told her stories, and one of them even helped build a custom motor-powered wheelchair with Harley parts. Emily's drawings began to change. Her sketches were now full of strength motorcycles with angel wings, girls standing tall beside storms, and sunsets that burned like courage. Her art teacher was so moved that she submitted Emily's work to a citywide exhibition titled Wings of the Brave. The night of the show, Emily rolled into the hall, her biker family behind her, engines roaring outside. When her artwork was revealed, the room fell silent. In the center was a painting of a wheelchair, but behind it, massive wings spread wide across the canvas. Beneath it were words. "You can break my body, but you'll never break my spirit." The audience stood in applause. Tears filled Emily's eyes as she looked toward Ray. He gave her a proud nod. "Told ya, kid, you were born to fly." Later that evening, Emily rolled her wheelchair back to the pier, watching the moonlight shimmer on the waves. Ray stood beside her, quiet for a moment. Then he said, "You know, we bikers, we ride to feel free. But you remind us what freedom really is." Emily smiled. "Freedom isn't about running or riding. It's about never letting anyone tell you you can't." The camera pans out, the pier lights glowing, the ocean whispering, and the rumble of bikes echoing in the night. The screen fades to black with the words, "Kindness is stronger than cruelty. Courage is louder than fear. And sometimes, angels wear leather jackets."